So, have you ever watched a superstar absolutely dominate their field and just thought, wow, they were literally born with it? It's a super comforting assumption, right? I mean, if their talent is just magic, well, it asks absolutely nothing of the rest of us. But what if we're looking at this all wrong? What if extraordinary generational talent isn't some random lightning strike, but rather a machine that you can deliberately assemble?
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to take apart the rise of a global football phenomenon from the Paris suburbs. We're diving into the fascinating news source material on the Boy From Bondy, and we're going to deconstruct the exact environment, the systems, and the psychology that forged one of the most electric athletes on the planet. We are looking right past the highlight reels to examine the actual load-bearing walls of high performance.
Here's our blueprint for today. 1. The myth of magic. 2. Building the launch pad. 3. The anatomy of the engine. 4. Mastering the pressure. And 5. The weight of the crown. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The myth of magic. Debunking the born superstar narrative. Okay, let's challenge this deeply held societal belief that extraordinary talent just drops randomly from the sky. The temptation, especially when you watch a player of this caliber literally bend the rules of physics, is to just reach for the word magic. But the reality? Nothing about his rise was an accident. It was built. Success at this extreme level is a specific machinery, constructed by a really dense environment, a relentless family system, and a highly unique temperament. To truly grasp the sheer scale of the machine we're talking about here, just think about this number for a second. 19. That is the age at which he became a World Cup champion, actually scoring in the final itself. 19. That's an age where most professionals are just hoping for a few scrap minutes on the pitch. In just before that final, there was another number that officially announced him to the globe. 4. In literally 4 minutes against Argentina in the 2018 round of 16, he scored twice and completely dismantled an elite international defense. This wasn't a fluke, guys. This was the machinery operating exactly as it was designed to. Section 2. Building the launch pad, the environment that built the talent. We all know a rocket doesn't fire without a launch pad, right? So let's look at the specific environment that forged him. We're not going to romanticize it, but we absolutely have to acknowledge its immense power. This launch pad was basically built in 3 distinct steps. Step 1 was his neighborhood, Saint-Denis, just outside Paris. It gave him dense population, limited alternative routes to visible success, and an abundance of hard public surfaces. It practically concentrated desire. Step 2 was his family. Now, this wasn't just your casual household. His mother was an elite professional handball player. His dad was a local football coach. He learned by sheer osmosis that excellence was totally normal and required unspectacular everyday labor. He got this rare mix of high challenge paired with high safety. And finally, step 3. The French National Scouting and Academy system, particularly Clairefontaine. This system is ruthlessly efficient at finding rare talent in these exact suburbs and giving it the resources to really compound. Which brings us to a massively important universal takeaway, captured perfectly right here. Environments that produce an unusual concentration of exceptional people are rarely comfortable. Scarcity focuses effort in a way that abundance dilutes. Exceptional performers almost always emerge from environments that are perfectly suited to compounding raw ability. So if you're looking to develop a rare ability in yourself, the first question to ask isn't how much talent do I have? It's actually, how good is my launch pad? Section 3. Anatomy of the engine. More than just explosive speed. Once that launch pad fires, what actually keeps the rocket moving? It's so easy to assume it's just his explosive acceleration. But speed alone doesn't explain his sustained dominance. It's really just one slice of the pie. Think about it. Speed without intelligence is literally just running. His speed is fused with an elite footballing brain that reads the game a full beat before everyone else. Impeccable technique that actually holds up at a full sprint. And this ice-cold composure. So, why does this matter? Well, because true greatness scales. When competition gets harder, single-dimensional players get solved. They get neutralized by smart defenses. This player survived and thrived by continuously adding new dimensions. He started dropping into pockets, combining in tight spaces. He was reinventing his game before the old version could even be stopped. As our source points out, the visible gift gets the attention. The stack underneath it is what actually wins. I want you to think about your own career for a second. If you want to survive at the highest level of whatever you do, you cannot rely entirely on your one obvious gift. You have to constantly be building supporting abilities around it. Section 4. Mastering the pressure, treating the brightest lights as a comfort.
The psychological anomaly that truly sets him apart from the rest is his temperament. It's how he handles the absolute brightest lights. Listen, most people, even elite professionals, contract under maximum pressure. Their bodies physically tighten up, their decision-making degrades, but this player actually expands. The bigger the match, the more present he becomes. It's not that he feels absolutely zero fear, but he ensures that fear does not get a vote in what his body does next.
And honestly, there is no greater proof of this than the 2022 World Cup final. Down 2-0, with the match totally slipping away, he scored in the 80th minute. Then, literally 97 seconds later, in the 81st minute, he scored a stunning volley to tie the whole thing up. In extra time, trailing yet again, he scored a third in the 118th minute. He twice rescued his team from the absolute edge of defeat, and he did it in front of the largest audience on earth. Absolutely unbelievable.
But here is the agonizing reality of that night. Despite scoring a historic hat-trick in a World Cup final, his team still lost on penalties, which poses one of the absolute toughest questions in all of sport. How do you recover from doing everything perfectly, producing the performance of a lifetime, and still falling short? His response to that heartbreak is just a complete masterclass in resilience. A defeat is an event, not a verdict, and not a prophecy. Feel the loss fully, then refuse to let it have a vote in what you do next. He deliberately separated his performance from the outcome, and more importantly, he separated the outcome from his self-worth. He went right back to his club, kept scoring at a historic rate, and absorbed the worst outcome sport can possibly deliver without letting it break his hunger. Section 5. The weight of the crown, carrying the standard of a nation. Becoming the face and the captain of a footballing nation is an incredibly heavy burden, and the weight he carries is intensely multidimensional. He had to transition from being this thrilling teenager with nothing to lose to the indispensable leader who suddenly has everything to lose. Off the pitch, he became a massive public symbol in fraught French cultural debates on immigration and identity, a position where his image was claimed by people across the entire political spectrum. Crucially, though, the source notes he maintained a disciplined neutrality, impartially keeping his focus squarely on the football. Plus, he has to manage the immense physical toll that his explosive speed demands of his body, constantly chase the records of historical legends, and manage a massive global brand. It is a lot. Navigating all of this requires incredible strategic patience, and that was perfectly highlighted by his highly anticipated club move to Madrid. He didn't rush it. He waited until the circumstances aligned in a way that suited his own long arc. He optimized his environment over a long horizon, making sure that his remaining peak years would be spent exactly where they could count the absolute most. As our source notes, the people who get the most out of their gifts treat these choices as deliberate, long-horizon decisions. Talent is only part of the equation, right? Its true value depends enormously on where it's actually deployed. If you want your own abilities to truly flourish, you have to be ruthlessly strategic about the environments you choose to step into. So, we started this explainer by looking at a player whose greatness is so often just written off as pure magic. But as we've seen today, it's actually the result of an incredibly robust machine, a perfect launchpad, a multidimensional engine, a temperament forged in fire, and a highly strategic approach to managing a career. So, I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. If extraordinary success isn't magic, but rather a machine you can build, what parts are you missing in your own engine? Think about your launchpad, your supporting skills, and your temperament under pressure. The blueprint is right there. Now, it's time to get to work.